So I'm going to be doing the Domestika watercolor class exercise, and as you can see, I set up using cobalt blue, but unfortunately my cobalt blue is, my tube is super dried out, so I had to sort of coax it out with this round brush, add water to it, because I wasn't sure actually which was cobalt blue in my palette. And so, whatever, we just have to do what we have to do, right? And so the first technique that we're supposed to do is this even wash. Wow, I mean, it looks like a lot of the paint got used up quickly. And so it's just using the paint on the dry paper and just laying it down evenly. And I guess you want a lot of paint. And just use the flat brush to drag it across. And it's, I kind of have to move it around a little bit actually to get it even. Okay, the next one, let me try to get more paint, is dark to light. So we start off at the top with the paint, and then we don't add any. And I'm not really getting gradation using it over and over again. And so I think I'm supposed to just use just plain water to go from dark to light. And here also he said to keep the paper flat. Okay, the third one, you actually wet the paper in this triangle box. He said to get it pretty wet. And my paper, the paper I'm using is Fabriano Studio Watercolor. It's pretty thick paper. It's a pound, 140 pound cold press paper. So it's a pretty nice paper. Not as crazy expensive as Arches, which is what I usually use. That paper always feels like it's an investment. Okay, so I got a little bit outside the box. Let me just try that. And then one brush stroke. So I kind of want to load up the color. There I am. Load up the color. Bring it across the top. And then hold it vertically and let it run. And mine's not really running evenly. I think that's okay. But if you need it more covered, you can probably just do another little dab. And then it's pooling, so let me clean that up. So this whole thing is wet on wet, one brush stroke, let it run. And just kind of see what happens. Kind of the beauty of watercolor. And even my graduated tone, which is still kind of wet, is also running. Which I think is fine. Okay, and the last one is we do a little bit of everything. And notice, even though I thought I used a ton of pigment, like it's not super blue, is dry paper. So I'm still going to use this flat brush. I'm going to do a little bit dry, brush on dry paper. Then he suggests adding water, just water, and techniques. So I don't have the plastic palette knife he has, but I do have this edge on the brush, so I can practice, just see what happens when I scrape with it. Another one he said was just to splatter water. Yep, and you can see how that changes the, kind of shifts the pigment around. And toothbrush, which I don't have, so I can't show that. So that's like a little bit of everything. Maybe we'll even move, tilt the paper, see what happens with that. So the idea was just to kind of, I mean, he kind of did it so much better, but just get other effects. Here, I'm dipping my end in the paint and using the end. It's just to play with it, really. And just get different textures that way. Alright, so I just completed that exercise.